Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here today. For those of you that I haven't met, my name is Dr. Steve Moore, and I have been in the business now for 21 years. And so when I started the business, I was 27 years old. I had just graduated as a chiropractor, so my whole life I wanted to be a doctor. I thought that would be the best way, the best career to have to support the family that I wanted to have. And when I came out of school, I was really looking for a part-time business that I could do until I got into practice to help pay for some of my living expenses when I lived in California. So I was 27 years old at the time. I was looking for something part-time that wouldn't interfere with my studies, and I didn't have time to go get a traditional job. And so one day, when I was at home late at night, I got an instant message on AOL. Maybe many of you don't know what that is, but it was the original social media. And I got this message from a complete stranger by the name Todd that said that he complimented me and he said, I see that you're a chiropractor and you're interested in nutrition. Could I get your opinion on a new health technology? And I said, sure. And that was the first time that I'd ever gotten exposed to the biophotonic scanner. And I had an interest in nutrition and I saw that technology. I saw some videos on it. And next thing I know, I'm driving an hour to go to a local event to go see this technology for the first time. And I saw people lining up to get scanned. I couldn't wait to get my number. I thought I was going to do extremely well, but I was disappointed with my score, scoring at 31,000, which I would give myself a grade of a C minus. And I wanted to improve that score. And I stopped taking the supplements that I was taking before, and I switched over to Life Pack from Pharmanex and Nu Skin because they had a guarantee that the score would improve within 60 days or my money back. No supplement company ever before had offered me a guarantee to be able to do that. And being an entrepreneur and having a sales background and listening to that presentation that Nathan Riggs gave, seeing all the professional people in the room, I thought that, wow, at 27 years old, today is my lucky day. And I got involved in the business. I got started with the whatever kit they had recommended doing. And I had never done network marketing before. I had never had a business before. I had a sales background, but this was new. But the opportunity was so irresistible that I realized that with all these great people around me, I can learn how to do this because there is an infrastructure here that will coach and mentor me how to be successful. And my mentor, Richard Ellis, told me that I only need three things. And that is I need burning desire, I need to be willing to work, and I need to be coachable. Because I didn't have great contacts. My friends were broke college students trying to be doctors, right? I didn't have credibility at 27 years old, never really accomplishing anything other than getting a degree and having some jobs in the past, right? I didn't have resources. I was completely broke, living on credit cards as a student because my school loans had run out. But what he had told me was that I could make up for what I lacked in experience, contacts, and credibility by burning desire, willing to work, and coachable. And I said, I can have those three things and I can do those three things well if you're willing to teach me. And I really started my business mostly talking to a few friends that got involved, but most of the people that joined my business were people that I didn't know. I knew that the biophotonic scanner was going to change the world of nutrition. I knew that it was going to make a huge impact on the supplement industry, and I wanted to be part of it. And I could not wait to get a scanner. Now the challenge is they weren't available. There was a 6 to 12 month wait to be able to get a scanner. 6 to 12 months. And I said, this is awesome. I've got an opportunity to build my network to be able to catch the business when these devices start to come out. And I dreamed that one day when I got my first scanner, which was about 4 months later, because I was borrowing somebody else's, I was bringing people to events because I couldn't get my own at the time because they weren't available. But I could bring someone to an event. I could have someone listen to a conference call. I could do three-way calls. I was using the events to build my business because the events are what recruited me. I came into the business, started with a social media connection, but then I came to an event and I saw the people that were involved with this. And when I got my first scanner, there were about 400 scanners in the world. So I looked at this and I said, I've got a 0.25% of the market. And when this scales to thousands of devices, if I can just maintain that market share, maybe get 1% of the market, I'll have an incredible business. And over the years, our team has stayed laser focused on this technology because we've seen what it does for people. We see the impact that it has on people's health. And health is one of those things that a lot of people don't value until they lose it. And so, being a doctor, yes, I had an interest in business, I had an interest in sales, but I had an interest in helping people and teaching people. And I looked at this business as really something that can do all of those things. And I've had over the last 21 years, of which 16 of those years I've been Blue Diamond, 9 years of those years I've been a team elite, right? I've had incredible fulfillment in this business. Not just because of the company, the people, the products, the impact that we're making, but also the flexibility that it's created. When I started this business, at first it was just a part-time thing to do. But when I started to understand leveraged income, when I went out to the corporate headquarters and I saw what it took to become a Blue Diamond, when I looked those income levels of a Blue Diamond and how many hundreds of people had achieved that, and the people were traveling the world and being with their family and having all this flexibility, and I looked at what my career path might be as a doctor with no leveraged income at all whatsoever, the new skin business, if I can play this at a high level, this looked like a much better opportunity than going into practice. And so, even though I had studied for 9 years to get my degree, I was the first doctor in my family, spent a couple $100,000 in my education, there was no leverage in that. And so, understanding leveraged income and being able to create customers and have recurring revenue coming in, to be able to get paid on other people without having any employees, to be able to go on vacations and keep getting paid, once you pay the price and do the hard work, to me that was like a dream. And I saw that I didn't have to wait until I'm 60 and retired to have that type of flexibility. So it's been, I've been married now for 16 years. We've got three wonderful children. And I can tell you that the life that we've been able to create because of the opportunity with Nu Skin is far greater than the life that I would have been able to create had I gone into practice. And life is about decisions. At the time, it seemed like it was a very insignificant decision to respond to that AOL instant message, to listen to a conference call, to attend an event, to get out and fly over to Utah. But those decisions are what really shaped the life for myself, for my wife and I, for our children. And we're just so thankful, for Nu Skin, for the people within Nu Skin, for the friends and the relationships that we've been able to build, and the contribution that we've been able to make. We've been able to make a huge impact around the United States and around the world because of this opportunity here today. And so everything is really about, energy. And, money is a form of energy, right? We exchange money, but we have to exchange energy or work in order to get that money. And so when we start to look at things, is what is your energy like to be successful? Your belief system is energy, right? Your passion is energy. If you know why you're doing this, that's going to bring energy. That's going to get that energy going inside your body, right? When you're helping others, that's all building up energy for yourself. And events are a great way to gain energy. Events are a great way to see what other people are doing, to catch that vision, to set new goals. I came into the business through an event, right? It was a connection on social for the most part. And then it was an event that had that energy, that validated the business, where I could see people like me. I could see people that I aspired to be like at 27 years old. And we have events that are taking place now. It is so great to see so many of the events that are taking place with Charlie Patterson and Scott Bennett. We've got conference calls that we're doing almost every single day to discuss Prism. Because right now we are in this pre-launch moment to launch a new technology, not available yet today, very similar to how I got started in the business, but is coming very soon. And the difference that we have today, the advantage that you guys have today over what we had when we first started with the scanner is certainty, right? When the scanner first got launched, nobody knew what it was going to do. We didn't know if we were going to be able to acquire customers with it. We didn't have any validation studies supporting the technology, right? We were operating solely on faith. And now, having 21 years experience seeing how the biophotonic scanner has been able to acquire customers, how it's been able to acquire subscriptions, right? My business right now is about 85% subscriptions because of the biophotonic scanner. It is the best customer acquisition tool and retention device the supplement industry has ever seen. And if you want to have recurring revenue, it is critical that you put people on subscriptions. If you want people to get results, lasting results on the product, they need to take the product for more than a month, and subscriptions are a great way of doing that. And so we've seen what the biophotonic scanner has done over the last 21 years. We know what Prism is going to do. Guys may not know yet because you're operating based on faith, but we now have, for the 21 years of experience, we have a track record of what this technology has been able to do. With just about 5,000 to 6,000 scanners, we have scanned nearly 30 million people. Imagine what the market's going to look like when we have thousands of these, or tens of thousands of these devices, hundreds of thousands of these devices, or even millions of these devices. Just 5,000 of them, 6,000 of them have generated 30 million scans. We'll be able to scan hundreds of millions, maybe billions of people, and really be able to reshape health around the world as we encourage people to improve their diet, their lifestyle, and go on supplements that actually work. And so I remember the first time I went out to the corporate headquarters and attended the first fly-in, and I went there looking to see how I could build my business. I wasn't involved in the big picture at the time, but I said, maybe there's something more here than just having a little side business. And when I started to see the Blue Diamonds, the Team Elites, I started to see how happy people were, what they were doing. I just knew that this was something I wanted to be part of. There's just a feeling that I got when I toured the corporate facilities and I got around the people. And then a couple months later, I got invited to go to a major event, which was a convention. And I went to that first convention by myself. I didn't have anybody to go with me. And I can tell you that I saw so much success at that event that I knew that this was something that I was going to do for the rest of my life. And we have some great events that are coming up. Events add a tremendous amount of energy to you. They add a tremendous amount of energy to your team. And if you want to grow your business faster, with less effort, with stronger belief, with more energy, then you've got to plug into the events where you can gain that energy yourself and not have to be the only person that's leading your organization. You see, I didn't know how to do public speaking. I didn't know how to do any of these things in the business. But what I could do is I could invite people to come to an event with me, and I could let the event do the work for me. Right? I could let the experts at the events train my team, inspire my team. All I had to do was invite them to come. And we have this Success Summit that's going to be coming up here July 17th to 19th. This is a major event. This event will energize you. It will energize your team so that you can build your business much faster with less effort. If you go to successsummittickets.com, successsummittickets.com, that's where you can get your tickets. I would recommend that you guys commit to going there, that you don't procrastinate, because we are in a window right now pre-launching the Prism device, and it's your opportunity to get positioned in front of it. I believe that if you've got burning desire, you're willing to work, and you're coachable, that you can build an organization and an income stream in a fraction of the time that it took many of us to do with the first generation biophotonic scanner. Because we have over 100 studies validating it. We understand it. We know how to talk about it. We know how to recommend products. We have that certainty that's going on right now. Right. And I remember hearing one of my mentors, Richard Ellis, and he said, the difference, Steve, between you and I is that you're operating based on faith and I'm operating based on experience. I know exactly what your life is going to be like if you continue to stay focused on this opportunity. And what's interesting now is I'm in that position right now that Richard is. I have experience and certainty that I know where this is going because I've experienced what the biophotonic scanner has done in a very big way. You guys, many of you, have some of that experience, but a lot of you are going to be operating based on faith. But you've got faith with a track record of success with this technology. And we're so excited for this Prism device that's coming out. Now is the time to really get involved in front of the wave, plug into the calls that are being done by some of the top leaders that are contributing their time and their energy to help you, plug into the events and the tours that are taking place, and plug into the Success Summit tickets. I look forward to meeting you guys there. I am so honored to be invited to be a guest speaker at that event, and I look forward to sharing how to generate subscriptions with the scanner and talking to you guys a little bit more about my journey and what it's been like to be part of Nu Skin for 21 years. You guys have an amazing week. Thanks for being with us this morning, and we'll see you on here tomorrow. Bye-bye.